time will tell.
Certainly. NIP on the CT side, ENCE in the T driving seat, and some util. No surprises there. 2 smokes to be thrown out. In fact, this might be the same strat we've seen from them before. We do get your typical stairs smoke.
It's not often you see the in-game leader, right, constantly getting dropped the pistol here. So we've seen this a couple days in a row now. Snappy into the Tech 9. He is very handy on that weapon, so I can understand why here. And that util over towards A has landed. The wall smoke to stairs and jungle. Now there is a bit of gap on the stairs if they want to peer on through.
Yeah, Big hit some great shots punishing this exact gap, and that's what Hampers was pre-aiming. The bomb's already down, chat. Okay, mission accomplished. Step 1, big green tick. Step 2, yeah, is Deef defending this retake. It's a 3-2 split their resources. 2 from Con, 3 from that CT position. No flashes, it's just gonna be bullets. Deha was concerned, and he strikes. Man, that's quick. 3 down on the CT prong, and it could be spotless on the reload. Rez accepts his fate, and Doto pockets 1,500. Damn. Well, I don't think it could have been a better way to win a pistol. 5 people alive, knife kill.
But pistols have been an issue for ENCE so far. So I'm gonna hold my breath for a moment or two because they were able to do well on the pistols over there on Overpass.
Hi, bro. 3 Kalashnikov AK-47s fresh off the production line. 2 Galils and almost a full 2 sets of utility. They just threw out a couple already. They're sailing through the sky. You can see there on your mini-map. They will be indicated. And some CT util dropped as well. You're
framing it in a positive light. Now, the negative here is if they lose this force buy, all of that is going to get scooped on up by
All right, I know
NIP.
Whether your glass is half full or half empty. You've made that clear.
Well, it's just, like I said, the pistols, yeah, they've been fine, but converting for ENCE, that has been a whole different story here. So let's see. You can see the util from Snappy coming out again. Now, they have seen him selling this as a fake on his lonesome in other matches. Maybe they're going to fall for that. LNZ in the molly. Didn't extinguish.
Oh, full extinguish, no. And he will be wall-banged for his troubles. So, good start. No damage out of the device scout other than the first bullet. He's gone. Plopsky knows it's a low player, and he's actually managed to isolate onto Hades, only getting 80 damage. Not another one! Come on, that could cost him. He's just delivered a rifle, and Hampus is hitting shots. It's falling apart. D has gone 2, and Chad Burchell, all right, fair play. NIP will steal away 2 AKs and immediately again wrestle for early control.
Doto looks like a bit of a tit now, doesn't he?
Does.
Yeah, so unable to get that knife to connect for lethality right there. And 2 AKs, as you mentioned, now in the hands.
Oof.
And it started well. It started very well. It was a 3-on-5. So you can't get much better than that. This is the one where it is a blunder, we'll say.
Why has he done that?
Yeah, that's not what you want. And as soon as you get punished, well, you give it a force buy back and you see if you can continue to keep the force buy wars going here. But you're excited by the rifles events previously. You're going to get excited by the rifles of NIP now because the AKs are met with M4s. The opening kills to get them through the door. And there you go, Doto. That's what we're talking about. This one's got a bit more biff about it, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, if Plopsky goes tucked in tight, it's such a realistic duel for Deha. He's waiting for it, and his crosshair looked bang on the money, but just clips the wings of Plopsky. He will flap away, digging into the beast site.
Flappy bird.
There's a crazy story about that one.
It was too addictive, and the guy took it off the App Store?
Was it because it was addictive, or he just kind of like hated it and hated that everyone... Oh, maybe, yeah, I think that was it. He just didn't like that everyone was obsessing over it.
Yeah. It's one way to deal with problems, I suppose. Just remove the choice. Well,
dodgy dealing APKs on USB sticks.
We are going B. And the bomb, not too far away, but 2 players from NIP reside. Rez will take first contact here. Oh, Rez should have taken first contact here. He's had a look away. It all comes down to the timing. He spotted something now.
There's still legs to this. And yeah, Hades confirms that they could potentially get that bomb down, and especially with a recovered rifle. The incendiary towards the default plant. He tries to wait for the sound cue, but...
It's going to be too late then.
Way too late. Doesn't even spread in time. He's not taking a tick of the flame.
That could have been useful elsewhere. This is going to get hard now on the retake.
Certainly is. Even some counter utility from Doto, but he'd rather try and take some space. He's got a good idea as to where they're coming from. Oh, this is ballsy. Doto looking to make good on his oopsie from the previous round. And 2 backs turned. What a flank. What a play. And it's just Hades and Doto with all 5.
Huge stuff right there. Right, yeah. He did have that blunder with the knife, but he's made up for it. And now we get to see the Force by Wars extended as well. So a smile on the face there as Snappy. The wrongs have been righted. And it was the Deagles that started off in mid, right?
God, yeah, 3 DKs, 2 Galils, way too hard. But just Deagles and Tech 9s, bang on the money.
Yeah, well, because, you know,
Counter-Strike.
you've got a smaller window to mess on up there. You have to, one shot to the head. Don't screw it up, guys, all right? You know? Oh, okay. Oh, Snappy's yelling back.
I wondered why Hades was laughing so much, but we didn't initially catch that. Snappy just unloading. He wants to have some fun with this. I think all of the players, right? You are a competitive soul. That's why you're successfully a professional Counter-Strike player. And yeah, there's pride and there's a lot of fun to be had. I think, you know, most of these players probably find the most fun in CS is when there is a lot at stake, sure, but at this point it is much more for that trophy by your name, as Chad included and suggested. I think that's a good one as well. Don't forget.
We'll block the smoke there.
Is there a gap? There's
might be just on the right-hand side, because you can see there it normally bounces more central. Hampus' Deagle, it's working too.
Yeah, he's no slouch, you know. Is there a gap? Wow, so unintentional or not, he does actually block that. And a Lurky Boy one up the connector as well. That'll keep you guessing.
Missed the jump into
the
window.
Do you know what else it would have done is keep you looking away from window, but doesn't get him through. 3 into B. Gonna be hard to defend now. Very difficult to overcome this. Rez is, lost a teammate there, and Rez's Deagle is good for a first. The Scout Deagle, not a bad package for Rez to continue to be a nuisance here.
They might just have to push this, right? Doto isn't here right now, so it can be a 2-on-2 on the side, and damage is done.
That could have been awkward, and they still could. These Deagles, a problem for the majority of ENCE. Oh no, and Spinks is gone. Doto forced into a very uncomfortable 1v1, and that Lurky smoke, you have to plant, bro. He's got the moves, doesn't opt for go immediately. He's actually going in pursuit of the AK. Now that will make this clutch easier. Doto, will he actively push for the information as to Rez's relocation?
There's no kit here.
He's gone into the kitchen, so he's going to have a good idea as to where they're coming from. And it's a short plant. So maybe bench, Rez thinks and clears his close corners. Van, kitchen, and apps, all a possibility within this
Tucked away.
game. And there he goes. Well, that's twice Doto saved them after potentially feeding that pistol to the boys of NIP, or rather the second round's conversion.
Should be the Force by Wars done right here, though. An eco for NIP seeming likely now. So 2 consecutive rounds here for ENCE, and yeah, you're right. Doto has been instrumental in putting them down the winning ways. Hampus has bought into a Deagle again here, so he has something to operate with, while I think the rest of his team are going to be a bit more conservative. Rez into a P250, the rest just with the USPs, and well, out come ENCE. See if they can continue the pain train. Now, for them on Overpass, it wasn't necessarily the worst of showings. It just was NIP ready for a lot of the heads-up Counter-Strike. Yanko brought up the conversation about Device being in this team and Mirage being one of the maps that they do like to go to, and Device not playing that for a very long time in Australia. So if he can get activated here and start really feeling himself on a map like Mirage, that is perfect. We're sold out in the default spread. The mid-control smokes of window and connector are down again, and they're regathering towards the B bomb site. But NIP have been doing their homework by the looks of things. They've actually stacked everybody over towards this side of the map. Rez, Plopsky, Device, they've just been greeted with Hampus and LNZ, who's hanging around in market.
Now, if I know Snappy, and if I know Saw, he's probably got his finger on the potential for a gamble here. And so that Mac-10 can act as a lovely little probe.
Need to be careful on Diha, though, right? He has the bomb.
Touche, and he has kind of got his hand in the back pocket of Snappy right now, so cool your jets.
A's being cleared.
Yeah, and the bomb's starting to navigate back, and it's just a silence bullet. Oh, just the tip of
yeah,
their
go away,
head.
guys.
Yeah, Snappy confirms their suspicions. Get your booties to the first letter of the alphabet.
Oh,
leave him
Team
alone. Doto puts one right into the back of the skull of Hades, so it's not the most gorgeous couple of rounds out of ENCE. It's definitely been a stressful one for them, and even these USPs are threatening. Look at their health getting whittled away at.
They're going to give this a go, or at least they should, right? They can take and do some damage here. Hades is already mopping that up. Spinks looks to do the same from the Palace position. Just tapping away.
Oh, Spinks actually aggressing and looks to have tamed his spray nicely. Just the Res P250. Diha knocks off a final few heads, and ENCE 4. This time a better recovery. I mean, we had a similar start to our overpass, but it's this time ENCE with a nice and early lead, converting 3 consecutive fashion. NIP to bring out, I was going to say all the guns, but there are a couple of sacrifices along the way.
Yeah, just the Famous here for Plopsky. He does go for the kit, though, so that's nice if we find ourselves in a post-plant scenario here, but the round you expect ENCE to get through, they've done exactly that, and Linus is into an AUG. We'll see how he decides to wield that one, as the window smoke has missed here. So there will be a gap, and Spinks, well, ready for that. Device is dead. That happened very quick.
Yeah, what a way to seize an advantage. We're barely at the 1:40 mark, and he won't expect this. He won't expect this. Taking that smoke for granted. Hampus punished. Doto trades. Running out of ninjas quickly. Plopsky elsewhere has dealt with Doto, but down goes Rez. The plant is open for business. Plopsky in an uncomfortable situation. He's got a full, lovely set, not only of util, but the AK-47, the kit. He's got the dream package. And they are low. Throws out a nade, trying to juke them out with the trajectory alone, as he does look to save. Potential little hunt on the cards. Snappy was flirting with the idea.
Yeah, probably not going to find him here. Up in the roost of the kitchen over towards the B apartments position. So wanting to hold on to their guns, ENCE. Now, loss bonus for NIP, 2,900 here. They can go for some pistols around this saved AK, and we've already seen it work once for NIP, so every round has been somewhat threatening so far. But this is good for ENCE, starting to get themselves into this best-of-5 final. As we know, ENCE yesterday had a great showing on Ancient, and that's the map that's up next. So exciting to see if they can extend that type of play against NIP, who have also been looking good on that map. That's their map choice here for the third of the day.
Dare I say it, the two best teams on Ancient right now, without actually, I haven't really taken a closer look at some of the CIS teams.
Yeah.
Gambit, Na'Vi, I don't know how good they are at it.
I think Na'Vi are pretty decent on it.
Bang! Open up, found, and I can't believe Doto's got away with that. 4 HP. Coming on in, knocking on this A door, and now Devices get some more. Spinks does have to once again save ENCE, and he's set up for success. That, again, got Etch-a-Sketch.
Hampus probably wondering how it went so wrong so quickly there. Device overstepping the mark on the top of the stairs was the first to crumble and all of that. Now the bomb loose towards top mid. The highest HP is Hades, who, well, right now, he's rotating back to pick that up exactly. So there is a chance for Hampus here if he can find a bit of a timing. They have absolutely no idea where he is. Looking the wrong way right now, but he's between them. And there it is. Spinks 4. Easy as you like. And well, now they're up to 6 rounds. This is looking fantastic. It's a real changing of the tide from map number 1. And if we're going to see resistance from NIP, it should be starting now. This is the CT side of Mirage. But again, another round that could have been close, right? So you get the opener, there was a tag as well. Device grabs one, and that's where it went all wrong, right? So Spinks was already working on this A play. That's why Device is stepping up, hopefully to catch him off guard. But Spinks ready than that. And, well, here we go. The Device AWP is out. Rifles for everybody, no FAMAS this time round. Both teams looking with very comparable buys. That window smoke again, and they're ready for NIP if they wanted to aggress here. It's a passive stance taken from Hades. They're not searching him out early to find an opening kill. We'll keep our eyes on this util again because Snappy's been able to sell a fake. Now, the reason it's more important now than it would have been early is because they've already done an A take with this same utility. So now when Snappy throws it out, they're going to be a little bit more skittish that it might be that A player. It's all going to be a ruse. We can see right now ENCE have 4 players up in the B apartments.
Yeah, we've seen Snappy pull this one out before. He'll be able to throw out 2 smokes from the same position. Got a lovely lineup for jungle. And he can throw out the second towards connector. It's going to be that wall of smokes. Rez won't have info, but LNZ and Device will have full confirmation to keep your feet planted. And Plopsky, that's a little late on the incendiary. The flashes are connecting, but so is Hampus, despite the lost vision. CTs do fill the feed. Issues now. The incendiary may have been late for the initial, but now it has kept them housed. Rez taking space. He's been spotted out. Yeah, Sinks. Sinks? Let me try again. It was Spinks that's dealt with him.
Yeah, just baited out by those footsteps right there. So Hades unknowingly tricks Rez in this situation, and what was feeling like a great round can still fall apart.
Spinks could get Device here. He's in the blind spot. Oh, pulls away in time. Fires off that shot. If he does brave re-peek here, Hades might have a chance on him on this release of his crouch. Device too good. He could have some more here and tries to snap into that short player, not far off.
Just going to save.
Just going to try and hold on to what they have.
one of the things that was really positive for NIP there, first of all, they didn't bite on the fake, but second of all, they had a lot of utility left. So when you saw that execute coming in, if you were paying attention to the CT side of buy right there, they had a lot of smokes, a lot of mollies, a lot of HEs left. So when the attack was coming on through, they're able to play a smoke molly defense of their own. Right? And by doing that, you slowed this down, you ruin the spacing, that well-rehearsed, well-orchestrated flight paths here. This was the one kill that made it a question mark, but Device is able to deal with that. ENCE do save the AWP. They can get the guns out one more time. Maybe even two more times if they get the plant here, right? They do have a bit of a buffer to work with now. They are going to get the loss bonus of 1900 in the next, so a buy in the next round wouldn't be outside of the realms of possibilities. And we're not seeing anything too crazy pacey from ENCE immediately. They just wait for the initial move, and now they come with the second wave.
Oh, and that's aggressive, Rez. Flashed in by Device, one for good measure on the retreat, and an early first blood for the Swedish roster closing this gap. Now, let's see if they can string two together.
Very deep there. Very, very deep. Probably too deep. I think Dodo can take a fight.
Yeah, there is a very, very comfortable fight. He doesn't get full gray screened on that, so punished there, but just a little bit of a flubbed smoke.
Dodo's got the rotation here, and they are...
Oh, they didn't break the vent. That'll even be information in itself as to the setup they adopted.
Well, they want to continue forward here. Device has a decent idea. Still two on this site.
He's got the moves. That's great from Doto.
Hampus has looked away.
Hot pursuit of this Hampus frag, but Hampus takes one with him just prior to the grave. Plopsky is caught. And that bomb should be uncontestable. Device of crazy wallbangs, the only thing separating him from a contest. Now he's got to do his best. Partners up with LNZ. Some utility on him. Oh, and Hades falls foul to that jiggle.
Dodo's won the clutches so far.
Yes, he got another in him. Oh, he's looking ready to rock and roll.
Loves this position, doesn't he?
Oh, and a nice elevated position. Smooth movement to get him into this position now. Line is going to put his head in the vise on the peak. Oh, Doto, brilliant, but not quite enough. Enough time on it. LNZ pulls it across the line for NIP with two in a row.
Oh, had to commit to that fight there. You're unable to continue to push. I think the light blocks you if you're up on that shelving unit. So his only option would have been dropping down to the left, which still would have been in Linus's line of sight right there. So the youngster clutching up against Doto, who's been great in those situations. And I just want to, sing the praises of Doto again, and all the players who were able to pull off that maneuver. You saw the window jump. It's under pressure when he's doing that, because if he flubs that, he's going to be later coming around Cat. He won't take Hampus out, and the bomb site could have been locked down immediately. So keeping you cool with the movement is quite tidy, but Hades is not keeping his cool right here. I think he understands if he hits that shot, they've secured that round. So a timeout now.
Yeah, and it's this is the highest level of count. We're in a grand final, and getting jiggled out like that as an AWPer, you consider yourself better than that. You hold yourself to such a high standard, but the pros have got so naughty with it. They will do every trick in the book to pull that shot out of you and then profit. They know the advantages you're operating with, and have found their way to weasel you into a disadvantageous position. Is that even a word? Disadvantageous.
Hades has got his AWP again, so he gets to try his luck one more time. They've actually went to set up the boost over towards the A ramp here. Nobody going to be caught on that cross, as I was just praising the movement this time round. A little bit flubbed, but it's not going to be the end of the world. That wasn't the only thing they were bringing into this one. As I mentioned, if they got the plant, the buy would be good. Dihar is the only one who's had to take a sacrifice here. He'll have the deagle, and a late window smoke now coming on out. That is going to be blocked on off. A reposition necessary from Hampus unless he wants to watch the light. And, well, an underhand HE here, well timed.
Wallop.
So he does dodge. If he continued into that, he would have been half HP about now. And this is more harassment out of Hampus. Splits this underpass push and slows down the mid default.
Understandably concerned about B. They don't have any apps info. They just know there's something in mid.
They're more than happy to play a bit light on mid here. So you can see that Rez is close towards connector, and they want to put the forces with a crossfire from short and connector passive on the window position if they do come on through. So allowing ENCE to make the first move.
Yeah, and this is an unpredictable angle. So as long as they don't expose themselves to, say, Plopsky, and Rez is on the stairs, ready for that Palace swing. Nearly gets it. Look at the aggressive orbing out of Hades. He could get two. The close quarters orbing converts and opens up the site for business. Hampus to destabilize. Oh, and Hades building into an ace. He did start this round. Now he has the means to close it. D has the one to do so. What a performance out of the Poles. A full Polish ace. And you will see a 7th secured. It wasn't a guarantee. An NIP aching in the finances now.
Yeah, that's a rough one to swallow right there. Hades, obviously, we were just mentioning how he was disappointed by missing that shot. Well, he's made up for it immediately. So we had Doto go for the knife, and then they lost the round. We had Hades miss a shot, and then he came back and has a massive 4K. So ENCE's individuals here are popping off right now. 11 apiece for Hades and Doto, the two we just mentioned. But NIP, it's seeming likely they'll lose the half here. ENCE doing a good job of dealing with this. Occasionally it does get scrappy, but they are coming out on top of a lot of these scenarios here. And Snappy, he's thrust on forward early. Rez only with the USP. He is playing with the gap here and would hope somebody walks in while it's up. It could work in his favor, but now that it's faded, you can't hang around. Snappy's already vacuuming up all of this space.
Did land a bullet to the dome. Fortunately, Snappy came prepared with his hard hat. And Plopsky builds off what his teammate started. So there is just a single player about to be isolated by the entire ENCE squad. Good luck, have fun, Hampus. Molotov forces his smoke and an indicator as to where he's hiding.
He's screwed.
Yeah, absolutely cream crackered there.
You can see how quick they were to react as soon as they noted where Plopsky was. Normally one of those B holders, right? So he gets the kill from the shadow position and they immediately get their running shoes on and head over towards that B side. Now it's about what we can pick up on the way out the door for the Swedes. They can still inflict some financial damage here. ENCE, they are in the lead, but their finances not looking fantastic. Neither is Linus right now. That's very, very diligent, right? The fact that he was so far ahead of that, this is how wary they've become, right? Of every single corner, every single peak, not letting them get away with any of this, and it will just be Device over towards Tap in mid. Deagle for him, and, well, we'll call this 1.5-1. 8 now for ENCE. Lots of money to work with now, but again, it needs to start for NIP. They need consecutive rounds. So far, only been able to put 2 together. Won the Force Buy in the second round of play and then lost the Force Buy Wars. Remember, there was that nice little clutch from Dota where he's come through the kitchen behind them and 2 of them absolutely pants right there. I'm sure NIP wanted to come in today and get this one done as quickly as possible in the best of 5. They lose this one, well, it will have to go to at least the 4th map of play. This time a timeout and threat. Maybe reminding them of that. Ancient up next. It's probably a map they're feeling very, very confident. If they can get Mirage the pick of ENCE out of the way early here, then they will avoid Nuke. And it's not that NIP have been looking bad on Nuke. ENCE have also been looking pretty good on Nuke. They took down Astralis yesterday on that map.
Yeah, and ENCE is Ancient against Astralis. I mean, I don't know if Astralis are ranked or where the power ranking in the Ancient development for them was, but they looked very uncomfortable in that game. ENCE looked very, very solid, and some of the executes just looked like they were hard to beat. We did outline some gaps that could be exploited by players that have taken them through the demos, and I have no doubt that NIP have been doing exactly that. But yeah, Ancient next. I'm very excited for that one. You can see Nuke 4th, Dust 2, the brand new Dust 2, he says, with 1 change on the list.
Yeah, it wasn't played a whole lot here, was it? It was...
well, last time we checked in, it was like 3?
Yeah, 3 or 4, I think it was. So I'll have another look right now. I'm not sure if it's being played in any of the other decider matches that we do have going on today. But it is a map that I think we'll still see a lot of once we do get to that major. But here we go, we're straight into A. This is a pace change.
Fast from Snappy's call, and he does actually lead by example only. LNC being pressured, manages to claw a second out of that high pressure scenario. And a back turn of Snappy, this is by no means a guarantee. Look how many smokes are up right now. Looking for info, understandably so. They don't have to rush this. Oh, and you can confirm that there is a close presence. That will definitely have them disinterested in getting that bomb down. They're actually looking to try and relocate to B.
This is a big move right now.
Yeah, but that lurky smoke means that Plopsky will be quite hot on their heels. He's already trying to clear the site.
They're going to get away with this, I think. Hampus would have to start peering right now. So the fact is, this is all a bit of a ruse, and they will make it towards the site. Doto, with that movement again that I highlighted, has been able to get himself through the path of least resistance, up and over, through short. The bomb will go down. Hades with the rotation, and he's playing forward.
Oh,
that should be it.
That will be it. Plopsky could fancy his chances, at least confirmed that Hades isn't sticking around, but shouldn't be a way in. This is looking great. ENCE not only winning the half, but extending that lead to 9.
Well, they were stompy yesterday, right? The performances they put down were just absolute destruction. Plopsky, if he can get this AWP, save that one, at least they'll have that to give to Device in the next round of play, but it is getting dire now. Once again, it is the CT side of Mirage, and ENCE have shown that they've picked this for a reason. I just love the mid-round maneuvers. If you take a look at the closeness of these rounds, it's not one of these games where we're like, oh, they're not getting any kills, right? This is one where the rounds have been close. A lot of situations where maybe 2 or 3 players last alive for ENCE in this, and they've had to play out the mid-round scenarios, and they're keeping really cool on this. So it's good to see. It's definitely good to see. Yesterday, when they were owning, it was just they were owning, right? There was nothing Astralis could possibly do. Here, they're still having to trade out efficiently and then go from there. Keeping it cool, keeping it calm. And NIP, well, that saved AWP is the best thing they have to boast into the next round of play. The buys are coming on in. Pyjamas, couple of M4s in the mix, one on the ground for Plopsky as well, the U-tilt to back it on up. But rounds, that's the problem here. What's the change-up going to be? They've already taken the timeout to discuss their options, and they're not getting anything for this Device aggression. -2.
Well, that aggression could be this unknown factor, put a wrench in the works. Oops.
They're aware of the close hold though, right? What Snappy's showing right there with that Molotov is that they know that they're up close and personal right now. So he does flub it. It wouldn't have changed a whole lot anyway. And now he's selling this A fake again. So the U-tilt coming over, hoping for a reaction. Rez is close towards Palace. LNZ close towards that ramp.
Could be a double fake, Chad. With the bomb Palace, like maybe they want to have Diha now to come knocking at B and get like a real knee-jerk reaction out of Ninjas.
Plopsky needs to get this kill.
If he goes down, that might force that. Rotate, there it is, quick trade, but now they strike immediately. Linus is still there. This is an absolute mad one. NIP with the bomb spotted and the frags provided. Needs a reload, does get the opportunity due to the missed AWP shot. Hades' flank is everything here. Absolutely everything. I think he's been spotted out. Device is not gonna let this go. Okay, doesn't even get to pull the trigger, and that's important for the Ninjas. If they want a competitive Mirage, if they want to be able to voice their concerns and be able to actually post up a second in this best of 5, putting them within that winning spot and territory, heading into a map that they consider themselves to be very, very good at, Ancient next. They definitely probably want the rest, and well, you can see that the cash has been exhausted. Everything now invested by the boys of ENCE, an extra 1k or so at the high end for Doto. So a big round here. This will be determining just how much of a stomping this first half will look like.
Yeah, they're heading just towards A here, so no funny business with the fake. It's just all 5 members right now from ENCE lining up their U-tilt here. Hades, a forward force with that AWP, ready in case they pick into his line of sight, and that U-tilt being dropped again here for Snappy to be able to work with. So here come the flashes. It might be a different one without the smokes coming on through.
Device can address this, and he's got such a cool head on his shoulders. He calmly tracks the strafing. Doto does put his name in the V first, and more to come. Aggressive stance. Lucky to have gotten away with that. Hades tucked into Tetris, but how do they get out of this one? Util dropped, counter util play out.
Have to play in front of this.
Trying to. Actively trying to, and in the flames, Snappies does strafe out into Device, and suddenly Diha and Spinks have won their duels, and then some. Only Hampus, and he's just connected the first of the 3. They're low. Smoke, something to play around. He'd love to isolate the random no-scope, not far off the money. And they are going to get this bomb down despite a knowledge of his presence. The smoke breeding some doubt. Diha strikes, and that's 4. Huge performance from him, and at times it again looked bleak, but ENCE looking to stomp their way to victory now.
Yeah, and we brought up that Device point earlier, how Mirage is a map that he didn't play for the longest time. It was the permaban of Astralis, and well, he's only got 4 kills, and he had impact in this round. He's hit 2 shots, and they're unable to convert this round right here. So when the opportunities like this come their way, they need to be grabbing these. So NIP in a rough spot now. Final round here of the first half, and it's going to be an MP9 in the hands of Plopsky, a Pyjamas there for LNZ. And yeah, things just aren't going their way. ENCE is showing up in a big way in map number 2.
I think dropping your nades as well, like, what better example of how that can change? The way you see both Diha and Spinks nadeless, just counting on Snappy to set them up for the frags, and the frags came beautifully. Diha with 4. Last round of our half, second map of our grand final. Standard split of the CTs and a standard spread as well. Does look like A does seem to be the target.
It feels to me like what they're doing is they're allowing Hades to look on out here because they've still gone for the default spread, as you mentioned, just in case of any pushes. And Hades is the driving force of looking for a more active pick. And more active is Snappy right now. He's cleared out close.
Ooh, didn't spot anything.
I can spot it on the next jump here. Oh, they won't jump now that Molly's been thrown. The extinguish to sell that it is a site hold. And Hampus will have to peek. He has to acknowledge this. And he has. So now that he's taking back the info, A, they know it's coming.
Just careful on your jumps. He's got the info and confirmed Hades' position. They love this smoke. Very effective. Stops that immediate loss of the site. Buying 20 seconds. Here comes a boost. So they're looking to strike from jungle. Currently held head on a swivel. Rez was there. He's looking the wrong way now. Sounds good. And yeah, back turned. Doto looking to give ENCE an 11th. And that's the first blood. That's the plant device. Locked out from the site. We do have a ramp presence in Hampus. Maybe he can destabilize. That's if he's lost his whole team, though. Thrust into a 1v5. What can you do? The answer is nothing. What a half out of ENCE. A clinic on the T side. 11 already. We could very well be running quite quickly to our third. Let's see if they can maintain as we head into the pistol. A quick break required. We'll be right back to see if NIP have got anything to show. Feeling like Mirage would be closer. Well, he's bang on the money in some respect, I suppose.
Yeah, closer for ENCE getting 16. That's definitely one of the regards, and it's closer. Now, yelling over the back fence, we've all done it a couple of times. You've all had a neighbor who's maybe making a bit too much noise.
You were the master of that. I still remember the early days of Chad Sponge Bircher. He knew the power of a vocal scream.
Oh, I let him know. I let him know. Back in the day, it used to be something that was an intimidating factor. You used to get to sit across from them. They would have to look at you as you stood up and you yelled at them and you let them know just how bad that round was. But here we go. NIP, to get this one started, they need this pistol and ENCE. They've been looking phenomenal on the pistols here. Let's see if they can continue that streak.
Okay, big fight in the top of mid, and Snappy already the first victim. There's more to be found. Hades at least keeps it a competitive round, and an armored 1-4 device. So his P250 has already drawn blood, and he's going to be the VIP to protect. Plopsky's made it work long range on the Glock.
Everyone's here.
Yeah, this could be a quick pistol. We may not see any bomb plant. May not be necessary. A man advantage already for the Ninjas.
They all just want to fight together here, so hoping NIP put themselves in the open.
Oh, lovely. How is this the strat? Take long-range fights against USPs as a team.
I think this just sticks with what ENCE have been doing, right? They just want to take the jewels. Fortunately for them, this time they're not going their way. Doto, the shots land, but not lethal. Device finishes that. And yeah, this is continuing with the heads-up type of Counter-Strike. Now, it didn't work fantastically for ENCE over there on Overpass. Yanko was talking about it on the desk. NIP would have an opening move, and then they'd wait for the reaction events, and then every single time they... Well, not every single time, but more often than not is probably a better way to phrase that. We're able to punish those moves and make it very difficult for them to maneuver across the map here. This time around, the opening not going their way, and it continued to spiral down from there. But here we go, the Deagles. They have looked spicy. 4 of which Hades into that scout.
We haven't seen a clean 3-0 conversion in this game yet. Pretty sure there's been a forced by success in both of the Overpass, or maybe Overpass second, okay. There's a lovely start. So NIP do look like they'll be winning this one out and converting it comfortably.
This was what ENCE were kind of under the pump of on their second half of Overpass, right? They'd sustained so much damage, but they stayed calm, and they were able to convert into the site with the kills, not by getting the bomb down. So they were chipped away at. They were put low and they were made to squirm, but they stuck to their guns and they were able to just find the necessary kills here. Now, Snappy's going to be smoked on off. That's a bunch of information to work with, and it's going to force Spinks into a position where he respects that, dropping all the way through the market position. D-Hard gravitating towards mid as well, so Spinks has second-guessed that. They're actually gambling on this B bomb site. If Spinks hits another shot like that, there's 3 low HP players right now, and NIP, they could start to crumble here. Spinks has to worry about more, but Diha, he's here to help as well.
Okay, that's lovely in the feed. It's getting high pressure as well. Linus has pulled them back into an advantage, but for how long? He's going to be very busy planting that bomb. Hampus is not in a prime position to clear. Linus might have to have a look, and just as Diha does avert his gaze, Linus hasn't jiggled. Pips the gap, they spot him out. Diho needs some bangers here, and Hampus saves them. Okay, well, it did get sketchier than it could have, or should have, perhaps, is the better word to use. NIP 6, ENCE 11, and now gonna have to just swallow their pride and hold on for another round.
Yeah, almost got sketchy here, right? There were some lovely shots right there. It was a good gamble call there from ENCE, right? They were sticking over towards this B bomb site. That second one from Diha, I thought Spinks got it, and I didn't even see him shoot, but they get 3 in quick succession. And then LNZ, that's the impact I'm talking about, right, guys? So if you take a look at the scoreboard, he has 9 kills right now. That's impact frags from him in a round like that. So huge stuff from the youngster again. Device, when I got to speak to him, was talking about the work ethic of LNC. And it's good to hear high praise from somebody like Device. I'd love if anybody of that stature ever had said anything that nice about me.
Well, that was like when NIP made the announcement that they're, you know, introducing Device into the roster. Like, Nork just had to say, oh, okay.
Yeah, you can't argue with it, right?
There's no argument there.
There's only a few players, if you got replaced by him, like I think Device, Zywoo, and Simple.
Yeah.
If those get, you go, oh, okay. Like, yeah, fair enough.
It's more a question of, you got Device,
yeah,
you know, as opposed to, I'm leaving the team. So yeah, one of the very unique circumstances in that respect.
Now, this is quite slow from NIP, and again, they're doing a good job holding on to that utility. Restraint being shown, but being dacked in the backlines right there was Diha. Doto's made this interesting, and Spinks again. They're surrounded right here, NIP.
Yeah, well, no, bailing himself out of trouble initially. The bomb down. Doto does have a gap.
Oh.
He just rushed it. A little premature. Didn't know Plopsky was going to be standing still to throw his nades. Now falling apart despite the threatening.
He's down the ladder.
Plopsky saved by the Device.
All right. Well, they salvaged that. It's sketchy again in patches, and Hades, he will fall as well to that MAC-10. Able to get themselves the AKs off the ground, so no MAC-10 carried on through for round number 19 here. And even an AWP dropped across. The Device will be able to equip that, so will Hades going into this, and both teams going to have very, very swelling buys. Obviously more important for ENCE to get things going here to start to establish that CT ecom. But there's only 2 players on NIP with a residual cash right now that is worthy of anything. Device with 4.8 and Plopsky with 4.4. So keep that in mind as we go into the first gun round here. Window will extinguish. Looks like they want to get the boost going, but actually underpass, jumping straight on down. Diha trying to hide in plain sight here. He's going to be quick on the B flank. They have to account for this. Device has to be ready for Diha fast.
Nade could do some serious damage, but yeah, Diha can be responsive.
Oh, he worked away. He's gone through connector here, so they won't be able to help with the flank fast.
Up to Spinks then. We saw the smoke molly defense on B site work well for the Ninjas, and no exception in the equipment. Nice find from Snappy, holds his line. Spinks contributes in a big way. Only one remains, and Hampus, it's highly likely you're hanging out with that bomb. I think they confirm it now with the spot. 12th is secured. ENCE put their first defensive round on the board.
Yeah, good stuff from them. Well, a plant would have been great for NIP as far as the buy goes. And now, considering the type of rounds we have seen from NIP, they will go for a buy here. They like to operate, you know, with 2 or 3 rifles and then pistols around that, and still able to get the most, right? Absolutely milk the most out of their type of buys. And one of the teams that we liked, you know, in the early stages of this online era doing that, or at least when they had a rise to power, was Heroic. We're always saying that they had positive signs when it was like a couple of rifles and a couple of pistols. So NIP have had enough money to get the AWP back in the hands of Device, an AK in the hands of Plopsky. But the question is, how are you going to activate Device on this map, right? He hasn't been having the best of times, only 9 kills so far. When you compare that to Hampus, who has 20, you'd love to see him getting activated now. He had a great game on Overpass, so it's not like he's lacking, right? It's just a map that likely, and if you sat down and you spoke to Device, he's probably not as comfortable on this as he is on the others.
It's an interesting quirk to the Device storyline, but it's rooted in logic.
Yeah. It's just weird, like, not too many teams have Mirage as their permaban, right?
Yeah.
The best team in the world forever had it as their permaban. So, well, that's curious, and Hades has kicked things off in style. A kill and he's gone.
Yeah, no better start to your attempt for 2 consecutive rounds. And Diha, what a prime target to eliminate. Speak of the devil, he's gone. Device down. And, well, It does hinge on where that bomb does maneuver. Rez has picked up this AWP to try and ply his trade.
Yeah, at least everybody now for NIP has a gun in their hands, so 2 players shy, but they're all equipped now. They just short of the mark. Chip damage at best onto Rez, and well, we know that ENCE like to go for these mid-round maneuvers, but they may have learnt from Overpass that that's not the play, right? As soon as they get these openings, if they batten down the hatches, if they play tight Counter-Strike and allow the numbers to work in their favor, NIP might just milk time off the clock here, waiting for the push. Now, 3 of them all through the mid corridor.
Hades is being pre-aimed here, and yeah, Rez, good read. Dota will be solo on A, but it's the wrong call from the Ninjas. They're actually heading at this point too short to Spinks, and he just lingers on that doorway for another impactful round. Back-to-back doubles on the defense. Spinks loving that AK as well.
Good shooting from him. Rez on this flank, however, right? There is 30 seconds, but he's threaded the needle that is the gap. Oh, no, Spinks is looking. Spinks is looking.
So hard, and yeah, that's a shot and a half out of Rez. He'd somehow need to find the bench player before or after the bomb retrieval.
Oh, bomb's mollied.
Yeah, it is, and Snappy will strike. Okay, ENCE up to 13, and that was what we were talking about in terms of consecutive defense. That should lead to a 14th, should being the operative word. We know how sketchy those light buys have looked, but ENCE so far have kept their head above water in those, albeit threatening from Ninjas.
This is feeling like Overpass now, but in ENCE's favor, right? So this is just a matter of time game in my mind, because if NIP were able to win that, then we go back and forth a little bit more, and we're able to really see if there's a comeback viable here. But now, ENCE, they found themselves in the driver's seat of this one. Their buy, it's not fantastic. They could have dropped across some rifles as well, but they have opted to go for 2 MP9s. So a clear understanding from them that the buy on the other side, it's quite tasty. And there you go, an MP9, perfect weapon for the job in this scenario. No armor. Bomb down. Snappy calling for aid.
I don't know if he's getting out of this one. Never mind, he fights his way out. And not a single body dropped. Happy to stick on the USP for the final finishing touches.
Okay, well, money back in play now. That was a quick one from NIP. They didn't have one of those rounds where they're out there trying to bait out all the util. Kept it quick for everybody at home, and maybe this map will be too. Now, operating with those MP9s, ENCE don't have to upgrade. They're in a fantastic position right now. They can keep those. They can go for another aggressive maneuver. Now, it's about where are they spawned for. Snappy has one, Diha has the other, and if they'd like, they can even push A ramp. They can push Palace with this, but they've actually divided the weapons. One into Palace of Diha, so there you go. There's one aggressive play, and Snappy could do the exact same thing over towards B. That's both extremities that could be swarmed on in on by MP9s, but a conservative approach. And you can play that position well with an MP9 for Snappy. It's a good weapon for the job. An acceptable weapon for the job. You'd prefer a rifle. You would always prefer a rifle here, but should be no dramas as you see a connector smoke lobbed on out there. Going to buy a bit more time on the mid-crawl.
Yeah, I mean, this, you can seal it up, call it good to go. Should you convert your bonus here without too many casualties, there'll just be so many opportunities for ENCE to throw the knockout blow. Last chance saloon for NIP here on our second. And Diha, that's an audacious angle, but he's managed to inflict some heavy damage, and down goes Linus. An AK upgrade. A flash for good measure. Doto has a large support framework here established for him. They can flash the stairs. Whether or not they actually want to do anything with that remains to be seen. And this is the aggression we were talking about from ENCE. When it works wonderfully, because you'll see as soon as Snappy confirms that mid isn't as scary as it could be, you will start to see the float of Spinks.
Look how much faith Doto has here that there is a warning system for him. Oh, peeks up easy.
Oh, and already doing in heavy damage to everyone. He's got Diha in tow. Oh, they work in perfect unison for 15. And we talked about making it as light as possible. Nothing better than 5 hearts beaten and 3 AKs recovered, Chad.
Yeah, beautiful stuff here. This is great. It's a really good bounce back. It means we might have a competitive best of 5 now. If you're tuning into this and think, oh, map 1 NIP are just going to run over these guys, ENCE just got lucky. Well, no. They're stepping up against another big name, and they're proving their worth here on land. Now, during EPL in both seasons of this year, ENCE have come on through and it's gone, wow, ENCE are a team to be concerned about, and then they've had drop-offs quickly after that. Well, this is something that you need to stand up and recognize.
And just the team bond, you know, building not only through the victories, but just doing it every day. You've had 2 weeks in that land light environment.
This could be a quick finish here. NIP setting up for the B execute pistols and util. That's the best they have to boast.
Here they come. Good reaction out of Snappy. He'll buy time for the hunt. And oh, back turned on Plopsky. So far, so good. Armored pistols, the all-in maneuver in pursuit of glory. Nothing for the ninjas. ENCE wrapping this one up, putting a bow on it and popping it under the tree. Equalized. 1-1.